Houston, say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, welcome you all to yet another Friday vlog of mine. Flaggins up to you all people, flaggins up to you all. Another Friday has caught up with us, yes it has. It's been quite a good week to be fair. I've got lots done at work, I've been exercising my little butt off people. I've done rather well. Got myself another 10k in today. I've done 3 10ks this week and I'm now doing them non-stop. I say non-stop. I mean, I park at the side of the big park and then I do a full lap and then I usually just stop at the boot of the car, swig some water and keep going. But the last 3 runs, I've decided to not do that and just try and do the whole thing without stopping to do that. So it's been really good and I've shaved 2 minutes off. So I managed to do 9.7k in 59 minutes and 30 seconds. Under an hour, people, under an hour. Hey. There's a bit left in this old sod yet, you know. So that's been quite good, and I've had a couple of swims in as well. So it's been a pretty good week for the old exercise. By the time we get to Sunday, which will be a swim and a run as it happens, there'll be 5 days of full exercise in there. So that's quite nice. And we do have a few things to talk about this week. One of which is another gripe, a gripe which I've gone on about once before, and a game announcement, which you'll know from the title now. Now, you know, if truth be told, people, this is not my first beer of the evening. Normally I do this, you know, while I'm having my first beer and we chat. You know how it is, people. We do it every week. Near as damn it. So if I'm a little bit slurrier than I am normally, it's because it's my second one. And the reason it's my second one is because I know what I'll do. Well, we're going to talk about Diablo in a minute. Diablo 4, which was announced. And I thought, I know what I'll do before. I'll download because you know how you get the little videos behind me. You know, it's a very, very professional channel, people. You get all the trimmings on this channel. So when I'm blabbing away about a game, you get the footage behind me, don't you? And in order to do that, I download videos from YouTube, you know, wherever I've seen clips posted up by the developers or whatever, you know, to put behind me. And for the last, I don't know, how long has this channel been going? For the last 7 odd years, you know, whatever it is, I've used WinX to download my YouTube stuff and it's all been fine. And every Friday's the same routine and it's so great to use and it's so easy. And I thought, I'll just download the Diablo 4 footage before I get going with recording it. Well, that turned into a bloody hours marathon of why does the thing not work anymore? It's like, and I still haven't figured it out. I mean, the thing is, it popped up and said, oh, the new version's available. I thought, oh, that's nice, right? Let's have it then. Because it popped up last time and I said no. So, fine. And then I put the video link in, said analyse it, and it just kept failing. And then I thought, well, I'll try and go back to an old version. So I tried digging out old versions on the interwebs and, you know, but none of them would work either. So I don't know what's going on with the WinX product, but it just won't analyse any of the YouTube videos that I'm putting into it. So in the end, what I've done is I managed to find a website where you can just download it via the website rather than actually have to install anything. Hopefully WinX will fix whatever the problem is, but... So I downloaded the footage. As it happens, I downloaded it in... You can only get it with sound in 720p. Excuse me, people. Blimey, eh? That's not very professional. And but you could get it in 1080p 60 if you downloaded it without sound. I don't know why. But as we don't generally do sound on the channel, I only have them behind me while I'm chatting, so we don't have the sound up. So that was fine. So we've got 1080p 60 footage behind me when we talk about Diablo 4. But that's basically why this video is probably going to be up at about 1 a.m. That's not true. It's only 6:30 in the evening, people. But, you know, that's why I'm an hour behind when I would normally record one of these things. Because I've been sat there for a whole hour trying to figure out uninstalling WinX, reinstalling another version, rebooting my... I was like, still don't work. So I don't know why the universe throws these things at you from time to time. But, you know, for the 7 years I've been using that product, never had a problem with it. I don't know what tonight's all about. Anywho, we're here now. So we do only have really two things that I want to talk about. My first one's a gripe. I'll get it out of the way so we can talk about Diablo 4, which is more of a positive thing. Well, it is for me. And I've talked to you about copyright on my channel before. Like when a video gets copyrighted and it winds me up. Not because I know that I'm missing out on a lot of money, because I'm not, because the amount of views that this channel gets, it doesn't really generate a huge amount. It's the point of principle, people. I don't want people making money out of my time and effort when I'm not getting my 3p. You know what I mean? It is an absolute bugbear, like, and normally it's because of the music. I've explained it before, but normally it's because there's music somewhere that generates the thing. It could be like 3 seconds of a piece of music in a game. So the entire 1 hour video is now copyright protected by a music company for 3 seconds of a music piece. It's madness, absolute madness. And if that happens, like sometimes you can just lop out that 3 seconds and just, But, so I was sat there the other night, and it's interesting It's interesting that the minute I start, that months and months and months have gone by where I have not done any Let's Play stuff, right? And after, it must be about 4 months or something since I've done Let's Plays. And this week I decided I was going to start doing some Let's Plays. Well, last week into this week, wasn't it? And not a whole week had gone by until this happened. I suddenly, just before I went to bed, not yesterday, day before, Wednesday, I looked at my phone's email and I had like 7 emails. I was like, 7 emails at bloody 11 o'clock at night. What's that all about? So I went into it and it was loads of YouTube copyright protection notices. YouTube copyright protection notice on your video. And this isn't for the stuff I've just put up. This is for stuff that I posted years ago. Some of it was for Dead Space and some of it was for Until Dawn. So all of it was Dead Space and Until Dawn. And it was from WMG Music. Warner... something like that. I think Warner... I'm trying to remember who it is now, but it's one of the big film companies, I think, or music companies. Anyway, so WMG or something like that comes up. And so I don't know why it suddenly did this on the week that I decided to start posting up videos again, because the ones I've posted up are fine. But so there was 7 of them, right? But by the time I woke up in the morning, there was 21 copyright notices on videos or a number of places in the same video. So it was like 21 copyright notices on all the... I mean, these videos haven't got that many views, people, you know what I mean? I mean, you're lucky if they've got 20 views off of them, you know what I mean? But it's the point of principle, like, I won't have it. And it has to be, like, if it happens to any YouTuber, anyone that's on YouTube, always dispute it and say that it's fair use. Now, it won't always come back and agree with you, but dispute it and say, I've basically copied the description of what fair use means, and I've got this line of text that I will paste into my fair use comment that I would put into YouTube and say, look, this is fair use. Like, I'm not trying to rip off your song. I'm not trying to use your song to make money. This is literally something that is... it's inside something else while I'm talking over it. It's a commentary video where I'm reviewing and assessing and giving my opinion and talking you guys through it. And nearly every case, it will come back and say that your video's all right, it's fine. But it's just so infuriating, and it's like 21 notices. It's obviously some bot they've got that's just scanning YouTube constantly. But why did it suddenly hit me after 4 months of doing nothing, the week I start posting stuff up? It's a bit, it's just a little bit weird. And it's another concerning fact of like how you're monitored on the internet. And it's another thing, like I had this conversation, this is completely nothing to do with gaming, but I had this conversation with a guy in the office. We talked about something for about 2 seconds in the office. Well, about a minute in the office. I can't remember what it was now. And I was talking to my mate about it, and within 5 minutes of us having that conversation, he'd had, I think it was an email or a notification of some description about what we were just talking about, saying, oh, we've got these on offer. I was like, what the fuck? I thought that was supposed to be completely illegal. Like, you can't do that. You can't just bloody record people through your phone. And like, honestly, it's actually getting quite frightening as to how we're monitored in any online stuff now. Like, you can't breathe online without an advert being flung in your face, or some sort of notification about anything, or it's just bizarre. That copyright stuff, I mean, it's quite frightening as to how they're manipulating and listening and watching what we're doing. It's really scary. Like, I'm finding it very, very disconcerting at the moment. And I'm always dead cautious with my phone to make sure anything like that might be some sort of setting where I can turn off listening to me constantly, or, I mean, the phone has to, if I want to talk to Siri, I have to have that feature on. So the mic has to be in a position where it can hear what I'm saying, but I don't want what I'm saying to be relayed to, And it's not the first time, because I said to him when that happened in the office, I said to him, that happened to me a few times. I happened to have a conversation about something I never talk about, and within, an hour, I suddenly had emails or, notifications or adverts popping up in the advert space of Facebook and stuff about what I was just talking about. And it's like, what? How do you know that? It's scary, honestly. We are being listened to and watched, and we're not being told half the time. It's really frightening. Anyway, I'm getting digressed, people. But yeah, I mean, the copyright thing just winds me right up, and they have to find a way. I mean, to be fair to YouTube, it's not their fault as such. Because it's the companies that are sending the bots out scanning the music, I suppose. But they need to find some way of separating gaming footage, anything to do with gaming. If it's a game, if they can recognize it as this is coming from a game, not from somebody playing the song, not from somebody recording the song themselves, it's just coming from something that is attached and a part of something else, and not have it copyrighted. Like, just forget about the fact it's in that. It's quite clearly a gaming video. It's quite clearly being a commentary video. You must be able to recognise that. If you can listen to me talk about bread and then send me 25 feckin' adverts about different kinds of bread, then you can recognise that it's a gameplay video where I'm quite clearly not trying to rip off your content. It's bizarre. It's so infuriating. Especially when I do this as a hobby, and I've got to then, the next morning, I've got to get up and I've got to, before I do any work, I've got to sort out all my, get up a bit earlier and then I've basically got to click on each of them and say, right, I want to copyright protect, I want to dispute that one, I've got to go through all of them. To be fair to YouTube, as I was saying earlier, they have the tools they've given us to combat that now are much easier to use. So, for example, there were several videos where 4 copyrights had been put in because of 4 different pieces of music in whatever the footage was for an hour. But when I click on dispute it pops up with all 4, and I can just do them all at once in the thing. So that, YouTube have actually given us a much, much smoother and easier way of doing it, and the options to explain why are much easier. So from their perspective, I'm not having to go at YouTube as such, because what they're giving us is much easier than it used to be. But I'm still having a little go at them at the fact that there has to be some way of recognising when it's not just music and it is part of a gameplay video. If you've flagged it as gaming, if you've flagged it as gameplay, then they should be able to just say, look, it's not, like, the copyright's completely void because it's like fair use and it's inside something else. Anyway, there you go. That's my gripe. I've not had a swig of this. Normally I have a little swig before I get going. I'm feeling a bit parched. I'd buy you one if I could, people. If you were right here, you'd have one of these. If you've not got one and you're watching this, get one now. I mean, the joy is you can pause it, go and get a drink and come back. Oh, that's very nice, people. Right, should we get on to some gaming? Diablo 4 was finally announced, people. And anyone who watches the channel, the Let's Plays, and as I said, I'd not recorded any Let's Plays for about 3 or 4 months. And one of the last things I'd actually done on the channel, not the last, but one of the last, was I completed I know, I'm not going to say I completed Diablo. I completed the campaign of Diablo. And the DLC or whatever it's called now on the things. I did all of the campaign stuff. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And, you know, I'd be tempted to go back in and do a bunch of the seasonal stuff and all that, but not for the channel. I don't think it's interesting enough to do it for the channel. I think people that watch the channel like to see something progressively happen through a story and a campaign. And, you know, you do bits on the way, but I think in the end, if all you're doing is just seasonal stuff over and over again, I don't think it's particularly interesting to the channel. So I had no intention of doing any more of Diablo 3. But thoroughly enjoyed that game. I played it a number of times, but that's the first time I've actually... I don't know if that is the... Actually, I think I have finished it before. I just hadn't finished it on camera. And I think the proof's in the pudding there, because I don't think I've got any trophies or anything for it when I was recording it. However, the story of when... Because remember, Diablo 3 actually started on the Xbox... Well, it started on PC. But I'm sure that Diablo 3 came out on the Xbox and the PS3. Did it? Yeah, I'm sure it did. And then it got remastered for the PS4 and the Xbox One, because I'm almost positive that Craigie Boy had played that on the 360, then played it again on the Xbox One. I could be wrong, but I think that game, the original Diablo 3 without the extensions, I think that was on the other two consoles. And I could be seriously, now that I'm saying that, I could be seriously wrong about that. It could just be that Craigie Boy played it on the Xbox One and the PS4. But I've got a really strong sense that was a cross-gen game. I'm sure it was. And so if you take into account that it started in PC, then started on the lower-end consoles, then went to the current gen... And that's a long time without a follow-up to that game. And the fans, you know, I mean, I don't know, a lot of you all know this already, but they announced, was it 2 years ago? It might have even been last year, but I think it was 2 years ago. They had this at BlizzCon, they had this big thing, and everyone was like, oh my god, they're going to announce Diablo 4, and everyone was dead stoked. And then the room was ram-packed with all these Diablo lovers, and then they announced some mobile game of Diablo, and the whole room just fell silent, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we just want a proper Diablo follow-up. Why are you making a mobile game? You know what I mean? And they got absolutely destroyed on stage. They get destroyed all over the media. I'm not saying that the game's not, you know, done well or anything, because mobile games tend to do well to some level. The problem is, if you've got a franchise as massive as that's not had a sequel in that long, you can't come along and just say, here's a mobile game. Like, anybody in the right mind that does AAA titles will, like Bethesda did. Not that Bethesda don't make mistakes, but when Bethesda are doing like a new Fallout, they'll do the mobile Fallout game. Or if they're planning, you know, while they've already announced the next Skyrim or the next Elder Scrolls, they're on with the mobile game that is free. So there's a hand-in-hand thing that goes on with your AAA game. That's not what Blizzard did. Blizzard came on and they went, oh, we've made a mobile game, or making a mobile game. Well, nobody wants that as the primary focus of this bloody convention. You know what I mean? We want Diablo 4. Anyway, so I remember I watched a clip of that when it all went sour in that room. And they had a mic, like at these convention things, they put a mic out and the people can just queue up and ask questions to the people on stage. And one guy just walked up and said, is this an out of season practical joke? The people on stage were just like, oh, fucking hell, what's happening? I mean, I don't understand, like, as a game developer, how can you not know that is going to be, like, that is going to fall flat on its arse? There's going to be no excitement for a mobile game when you've got that crowd coming into your room. I mean, I don't understand it all. You know, I mean, maybe the game devs knew it, but the bloody management clearly didn't. Anyway, so the other week there, about a week or so ago, I think, in fact, because I did my last week's vlog on the Friday, well, as you do. I think on the Saturday or the Sunday, I noticed that the Diablo 4 had been announced at BlizzCon. I didn't even know BlizzCon was happening, to be honest with you. I hadn't been paying attention. And that's when I saw the footage and I was like, for God's sake. Because it might actually have happened in time for last week's vlog. But never mind, eh? You know. Some things are worth waiting for, people. So let's talk about what we've seen, shall we? I'm going to have a second sip of that. So I've seen several trailers now. I've seen people who got access to play it, physically just sit and play it. I've seen the sort of movie footage where it explains what the story concept is. And I've seen what you're going to see behind me, which is the sort of launch gameplay trailer, which starts with a guy sort of talking about, an old guy's talking about stuff, and then you see all the snippets of gameplay of the different types of character you can play as you go through. It's interesting. When I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, that looks really, really slick. It looks beautiful. Honest to God, I think they might actually be the best at cutscenes I've ever seen. Even in Diablo 3, the cutscenes were absolutely out of this world. And the CGI stuff they do is just incredible. So the whole movie thing was brilliant. Even the old guy talking at the beginning of this was brilliant. And I say old guy, he's probably my age. So, you know, when it comes to that style of game, though, for me, it was like, I felt like it was what the Diablo fans would have wanted, which was what they got last time, but not in cartoony graphics, in realistic graphics, and that's what they're giving us. But Craigie Boy was kind of like, when I sent him the clips of the gameplay and stuff that you're seeing behind me, he was a little bit disappointed because he felt like it was a bit sort of cut and paste from last time with regards to the action. Now, I don't quite understand that, because I don't know how many different, like, unless you're going to change the entire way that game works, like make it a third person over the shoulder, or like not a dungeon looter, which is what it is. It's the best of the dungeon looters that there is, kind of thing. How are you gonna make that look any different than it was looking? And to be fair to it, I mean, you know, the classes were different. Like the druid, there was the barbarian, the sorcerer, and the druid is the three that you're going to see in the trailer behind me. And there's a fourth. I think it must be some sort of ranger or something. I can't honestly tell you off the top of my head, but there is a fourth. I'm sure there is, and I'm sure they'll add more classes after the launch. And we have no idea when that is. I mean, as far as I could tell from that BlizzCon, I think it's quite a ways off yet. So, you know, I don't think we're going to get it next year or anything. And, you know, that said, it is clearly going to be a next-gen game because, well, they might release it on the old ones. You never know. But for my liking, it's going to be a next-gen game. And I mean, that said, the trailers that I saw, I mean, I could be wrong, and it might tell us behind me on this trailer, but I've not seen anything that said Xbox, PS4, and PC or anything like that. So they might well, because Diablo 4 didn't come to bloody console for a long time. Sorry, Diablo 3 didn't come to console for a long time, did it? It was on PC for ages before it came to console. So we can only hope that they're going to launch it on console as well as PC. And yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of a hoo-ha because the reason it was delayed so much was because they didn't know what to do with it. Because Diablo 3 grew in love rather than actually was accepted when it released. A lot of people didn't like the cartoon style, they didn't like the gameplay style, blah, 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 blah. I thought it was a great game, gorgeous game. The best looting kind of game I think I've ever played. The stuff you were picking up is just incredible. The amount of different loot, the amount of different weapons, the stuff you can do with them and armor. I think it's the best I've seen. And, you know, if they can... I don't know. I mean, I've not played Diablo 1 and 2. So I can't judge what people were pissed off about because I've never seen what came before it. But there was talk of them changing it to a sort of Dark Souls type game where, you know, you're a third person character, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they couldn't decide on how to make the follow-up because they were concerned that they'd just piss a whole load of people off again. And I think that's why they kept putting it off. In the end, I suppose you could say it's a copy and paste type thing, but you could say that about any person or any team that make a follow-up. I'm sure The Last of Us 2 is going to be a copy and paste of the actual engine It's just going to be bloody better looking, and it's going to have, you know, the PS5, well, it's going to have the PS4 power behind it proper and carry over to PS5. You know, you can take any franchise and say it's copy and pasted. Like, why would it, you know, like, I mean, for me, like, Craig can say it's copy and pasted, but he didn't mind it being copy and pasted so far as Dead Space and Dead Space 2 went, other than they fixed the, you know, the kinesis and stuff. So, what do you want then? If you don't want, I don't know, what do you want Diablo to be if it's not going to be that kind of dungeon looter? And to be fair to it, the druid that we saw playing, I think it was the druid, can turn into a multitude. Like, so when you activate a skill, you could turn into a werewolf, or you could turn into a bear, or you could turn into a whatever, you know. You were actually physically changing as a character to take on these moves, which I thought was really slick and really cool. And that was new. The graphics themselves much more realistic, as in real world graphics rather than cartoony. It looked stunning. It looked really good. And for my liking, I don't think I want it to be that far from Diablo 3. I loved the playstyle of Diablo 3, so I don't want it to change that much. I want the style to be the same. I just want new moves, new armor, new kit, new blah, you know. So for me, I thought it looked absolutely stunning. And there was also scenes of them galloping on horses across the land. That certainly wasn't in the last one. So there's all that sort of stuff going on. And I'm not sure, like the Sorcerer class obviously was in the last one. Barbarian must have been. Druid is definitely new. I don't remember Druid from the last one. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they do more with the classes. But for me, like, everything I saw about Diablo 4 looked absolutely superb. And I'm probably going to forget something I should have said. Let's have a look at my little notes, people, shall we? Yes, why some people might be disappointed, we've talked about that. Why the delay, we've talked about that. And the mobile game, we've talked about that. Yes, we've covered it all, people. I'm a master at remembering my own notes. Well, to be fair, there wasn't that many, so, you know. Whew. Flagman's up. We are done, people. I have nothing else to say. So this week, I've had a really, I recorded, well, you'll have got The Outer Worlds. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Diablo 4, of the footage you've seen behind me, or if you've already seen that footage and want to tell me what you think. I know I've already had a couple of comments about people asking me my opinion, so hence, you know, I was already going to talk about it anyway, but here you are, here is my opinion. I'm super stoked for it. And I think probably it's going to be a couple of years before we see it, but I could be wrong. But I think it's going to be a couple of years. I think we might see that at least after the next gen of consoles launches. So yeah, but super excited. I think it's going to be awesome. So let me know in the comments below what you think about all of that. And yes, my gameplay this week has been The Outer Worlds, which you got one for the last 3 days, so you just got one today as well this morning. Not as heavy a pickup as the first couple got. They've really slowed down. It might just be that people haven't had time to watch them yet. I'll see how they progress viewing figure-wise before I go and do anything else. I apologise on those 3 videos that I've just done. My voice is super loud because when I do these vlogs, I turn the mic sensitivity up because I have the mic away from me so that it's not intrusive when I'm doing these. So it's on like 93 sensitivity, and when I record, I'm right down here, which is really loud. And I forgot to turn the sensitivity down when I recorded those 3 parts, so I apologise that my voice is really loud in them. But I thoroughly enjoy playing it. I was getting super into it, and I'm really looking forward to playing more. I'm just going to wait and see what the viewing figures are like on it before I go recording any more. I am getting a bit of an itch, possibly to go back to Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. We were on before I stopped doing the Let's Plays. I'm deciding which Let's Plays to pick up on. We talked about it last week. I definitely want to get back to Chaos Bane. I definitely want to get back to Kingdoms of Amalur and possibly Dragon Age Inquisition. So those are the 3. Those are the 3. It's Scout's Honour that I want to get back to at some point. I'm just waiting for the urge to take me for each of them. I nearly did some Kingdoms of Amalur the other night, actually. Kingdoms of Amalur we were heavily into that on that Let's Play. We were on like part 54 or something. We'd got a lot into it. And I was having a little itch to play it again, I have to say. So there will be more Let's Play coming in the next week, people, for those who enjoy that sort of thing from me. And there you go. That is all I have to talk about today. I hope you're all well. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you once again in this vlog of mine. And I shall see you all next time. Take it easy, folks. Bye.